Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over this great success story that was sent from a subscriber. It's from a guy, he's 39 years old, and he's going to share his story about how when he was younger, like many other guys, not only did he not have the right type of mentor to help him understand reality when it comes to female nature, marriage, women, dating, relationships, all that, but also, like many, he rushed to get married too soon to the wrong woman. And let me tell you guys, this story, she truly was the woman, the wife from hell. However, even though this guy makes tons of mistakes, and he knows this, and I respect that he admits this guy eventually makes one hell of a comeback. I'm talking a complete 180, and is now kicking ass and taking names, and has a great life, and I'm really proud of him. So it goes to show you guys that you can be in a really bad situation, but you can get out of it. You can learn and improve yourself and have a great life. And he is now, and that's really great to hear. But there's going to be a lot of moments in this story, guys, that you're going to definitely want to pull your hair out. So a lot of important lessons here about how it's so important that young guys have a good mentor, teach them reality, how you need to really take your time to get to know the woman before you get serious with her, years, and I'll mention that more, how you need to check her when she's pulling BS, you got to stand up for yourself, and again also how you can make a comeback and turn the worst situation around if you really are dedicated to doing so. So, getting into it, and by the way, guys, as you can see by the numbers, it's a longer story, but you'll really enjoy it, so definitely stick around. It says here, hello, SSM. I will try to keep this as brief as possible. Well, it's 8 pages long, so it's not so brief, but I enjoyed the story. This may be difficult, though. I feel it may be cathartic for me to write. Here is my story. I was raised by a hard-working, blue-collar man's man. Although he was definitely blue-pilled and I had an honest traditional mother, I grew up in a fairly ideal middle-class home, believing that two-parent households were the norm. I saw the way my mother treated my dad and believed that most women were kind, traditional women who took care of the home and faithfully loved their husbands. Well, brother, you learned the hard way. That is not how it is like, especially nowadays. And if you're 39, I'm 44, so you're 5 years younger than me. But even back then, when you got married, obviously in the early 2000s, already what we're experiencing today had definitely begun. I mean, female nature is female nature. Nothing's changed, but things were a lot better in the past than the time of your parents. Anyhow, it says here, I think my father believed this as well. He provided me with zero guidance when it came to dating. Right there. Zero guidance. He kind of hit the jackpot with my mom at 19 years old and didn't know any better. In fact, when I was 21 and told him that my girlfriend would probably be spending a lot of time with my new place, he gave me this quote that I'll never forget. He said, his dad said, "If she is good enough to live with, she's good enough to marry." Well, many a men before you and many a men after you will experience this and find that that's a bunch of bullcrap. Now, all the time I say, if you're going to get married to the gal, if you reach the point you've been with her for years and been through a lot of real life experiences and she seems pretty cool, the final test is if she moves in with you. But that doesn't mean a guarantee, because there are gals that you could be with for years and you live with for a long time and everything's cool. You put that ring on her finger and all of a sudden it's Dr. Jekyll and Miss Bitch. So you gotta be careful. Little did I know, but this would send me on a trajectory to hell. I looked up to my father more than anyone. I've been dating this 19-year-old for about a year at this point. 2 weeks after I was given the advice, the absolute shit advice, I was the proud owner of an engagement ring and couldn't wait to propose. Smack! You've been dating this girl for less than 1 year. You're 21 and she's 19 and you got an engagement ring? Dude, you're kids. You know nothing about life. Very little. You can't tell me you have a lot of money saved up, established in your career, all that. And she's 19. She's a damn kid, right? And you bought an engagement ring. And also, you weren't living with her, right? And 1 year, that's easy for anybody to put on an act. How many real-life experiences did you have for her to see her true colors? Well, he's going to marry her, and you're going to see her true colors real quick. I believe this was the way it was supposed to be. I had no concept of vetting a woman for an extended period. Well, you know better now, my friend. I had never heard of the honeymoon period. I ignored obvious red flags because I was young, dumb, and naive. I respect that you can admit that. She was combative and irritable and had a wandering eye. She never outright flirted with other guys in front of me, but she had a lot of guy friends that I know she liked getting attention from them. And here we go. Combative and all these other things. Not a reason to have this woman as your girlfriend, let alone your wife. She's a damn immature kid. And what does a lot of immature kids want? Attention and start drama and all that. And they don't keep doing that unless somebody puts up with it. So I can tell already, you weren't ever standing up for yourself, checking her, laying down the law. Woman doesn't respect you, she sure as hell ain't gonna love you. I know now that she has severe bipolar disorder. Back then, I would see her argumentative ways as feisty and spirited and actually a little cute. It's funny how being feisty actually looks a lot more like her just being a G-damn-C-U-N-T. Gotta watch what I gotta say here. After a few years. My father had provided me with sound financial advice growing up. I was a firm believer of living within your means. I've always had a strong work ethic. At 24 years old, me and the little missus purchased our first home. It was a 2,600 square foot farmhouse. It wasn't a rich man's home, but people couldn't believe that we had been able to purchase a home this nice at such a young age. I worked my ass off at this time. My alarm was set at 3:30 every morning. I drove a bit of a shitbox car and always made sure the wife's vehicle was much nicer than mine. I worked my hands to the bone at a factory, exhausting high-paced work. Well, brother, I will say this. I respect your work ethic. I love guys that work hard and are on their grind and busting their butt, so good for you. And I also respect that you learned at an early age to live within your means. Most people live beyond their means. That's why so many people have credit card debt through the roof, because they need stuff to make them happy, and that same stuff they purchase on credit makes them be in more debt, kills their credit score, and makes them feel more like crap, and therefore they gotta buy more stuff on credit to make themselves feel better about themselves, and round we go. And then also, not to mention, eating garbage and getting fat and all that. So I'm glad you learned early on about the whole money thing. Unfortunately, his wife is not the same way. And also, why you spend time with someone for a long time before you marry them, to see how the other one is with money. The wife would work little part-time jobs, and she would always quit or get fired because of her terrible managers. She started popping out kids, 3 of them in the years that followed. I made enough money for us to get by with her being a stay-at-home mom. At least I should have made it enough. However, the wife could spend money like it was an Olympic sport. She was training to represent the country. It was during this time she also developed a painpill addiction. So you're a frugal, hard-working saver, and she, as you say, spends money like it's an Olympic sport. Again, something you would have learned if you would have been with her for years before marrying her. And I know he knows this. I'm saying this to the young guys out there that might think that's a great idea to race into a marriage or a serious thing with a girl without really getting to see what she's like. Money is a big deal. And one of the biggest things that destroy relationships is money. You got to be pretty close seeing eye to eye in these things. I talk about it all the time, and it is that important. I didn't realize how severe it was, her pain pill addiction. She'd make up things about losing her pills and would pick up more from her friends. I remember when the packages from started showing up with pills, she started to look awful. Mind you, this was a woman that at 26 could really turn heads. I remember the first time I took her to a workplace dinner. The next day, I had so many guys saying stuff about how they couldn't believe I was able to pull that. I've always been a pretty average-looking guy. I've lifted weights and was a bit of a basketball star in high school, so I never had trouble dating women that were really good-looking and perhaps a bit out of my league. She was beautiful when we were married. Now at 30 years old, she was starting to look more like a Walking Dead character. She took up smoking at 26. I think the cigarettes and pills really took a toll. Yes, they did. And obviously she probably eats like shit, doesn't get any exercise, and all that. It's amazing to me. I'm 44, and a lot of people think I look like I'm 35 or something like that. And I look at people that I graduated high school with, and they look like they're in their upper 50s or 60s. I kid you not. But these are people I knew back then were drugs and smoking and alcohol and all that. I don't do any drugs. I can count on my hand the amount of times I smoked pot in my life. I hardly ever drink. I don't smoke. I eat very healthy about 90% of the time. I am at the gym all the time, cardio and weights. I take care of myself. This is why I don't look like I'm the fucking crypt keeper. But it's amazing how people let themselves go. The worst part of our marriage was the constant fighting. She was a rage monster. What a great catch. What a great wife. Again, more things you would have picked up on if you didn't rush to get married, my friend. She was just a miserable bitch. We were always fighting about money. I would sit down with her and go over our budget and show her I made enough to easily cover everything, but somehow we were always short. She'd go to the gas station every day and spend $12 to $15 on cigarettes, Red Bulls, gummy worms, and other BS. It sounds petty of me to keep track of such stuff, but when we're tight, that adds up. Something like $350 a month on absolute garbage, plus the pills she was secretly buying. Meanwhile, I wouldn't buy a six-pack on the weekend or an energy drink. If I stopped at the gas station, I wouldn't buy anything but gas. I never bought new clothes, only bought Walmart shoes that I would wear until they were falling apart. I also found a credit card from Victoria's Secret with thousands of dollars on it. She owned absolutely every overpriced pink sweatshirt and sweatpants and t-shirt they had ever made. You are well within your rights to go over her budget and what she's spending because you're the one making all the money and she's pissing it away on bullshit, okay? I'm sure everybody here watching this knows somebody that lives like that. They just spend and spend and spend, piss it away on bullshit, right? And it's their fault. And it's ridiculous that somebody else, when people are in situations, they got to take care of someone like that. You had plenty of grounds to end it with this broad right away, but I guarantee you stayed in the relationship because of the kids and how you were raised. And guys, we're just getting started here. But you should have been laying down the law from the get-go with her outbursts and her fighting and her spending and all that. That's when the man's has to lay down the law and check his woman. Because if you don't, she'll keep doing this stuff. But you're going to see, because she's a rage monster, he's described, he wants to avoid the conflict, and she keeps doing what she's doing. You can't allow that. And not to mention the pill popping and all that, because she's watching the kids. Anyway, you would think that with her not working, she could at least keep up with her household chores. Nope. The house was an embarrassing wreck. Piles of dirty laundry, dirty dishes, just nastiness. Most nights when I'd get home from work, I would have to make dinner for me and the kids. I was exhausted, but would just whip up something quick like fish sticks and macaroni and cheese. That kind of BS. Meanwhile, she would go sit in the garage and smoke cigarettes and weed, and watch Netflix on her phone for hours. She said she needed a break from the kids in the evenings. So after dinner, I would usually make sure the kids were bathed and get them ready for bed. Then I was ready to pass out and do it all again the next day. Man, I wish when you were younger you waited longer and you met a girl that was actually a darn good one, because you're a great guy. You're a hard worker. You make sacrifices for your family, all that, but just you were clueless back then about women and seeing the signs, checking them, laying down the law. But I know how the story ends, and you do learn. She decided to get a full-time job since we were always fighting about money. We got separate checking accounts. The money she made only used to fill up her gas tank and whatever extra shit she wanted to buy. She did not pay one single bill. Smack. She got a full-time job just to take care of all her spending. Meanwhile, she's not helping contribute to the mortgage and insurance and car payments and the kids. That's all coming from you. That's bullshit. You should have checked her so many different times, but especially there, my man. She did not pay one single bill. I paid absolutely everything. Her job paid $40,000 a year, and she spent it all on gas, cigarettes, Red Bull, and pills. She would even need to get money from me sometimes because she didn't have enough left for gas. What an absolute child. Yep. I put up with all this because I was weak, and I wanted the children to be raised in a two-parent household. I also knew if I complained about anything, it would turn into a screaming, throwing things type of fight. Well, there you go. That's a problem. You said if I ever complained about everything. There shouldn't be complaining. What you should have been doing is laying down the law, say this bullshit's going to end right now. Even if she screamed and yelled and threw freaking dishes or her phone at you. First of all, that wouldn't be allowed anyway, but you get my point. She knew this, okay? I'm willing to bet you some of the time, even though she's bipolar, doing stuff to see if you'll correct her. And by the way, this two-parent household, you want your kids to see this shit? Because the kids will think this is normal, and they'll end up relationships just like this 20 years in the future. Not good. Better to walk away. Go through hell, but walk away. And start over. I mean, consult an attorney, find out all your options, but you'll see eventually she pushes him too far. Says here, I remember one time secretly filming an argument. I decided I was going to bring up how she threw a half full Starbucks drinks out the window in the yard every morning. Why did she do this? Because she would buy a large drink every day after work and wouldn't finish it. She would leave the cup holder overnight, need the cup holder for her morning cup of coffee, and be running late for work, so she would chuck the Starbucks in the yard. I would then pick it up when I got home from work. If I didn't, there'd be 2 Starbucks cups in the yard the next day. I shit you not. What a piece of garbage. She's throwing her Starbucks in the front yard. She can't just put it in the freaking garbage bin. Again, another example, she's nuts. Fucking mental, but also disrespect. She knows you pick them up. She's doing it on purpose. These are more shit tests, in my opinion. They would pile up in the yard if I didn't pick them up. I knew if I brought it up, there'd be a huge fight. See? So I filmed it. I purposely acted extremely nice when I brought it up. I did this to prove to myself that I couldn't discuss any issue with her without it blowing up. No matter how nicely I tried, no matter how lightly I tiptoed on eggshells, it wouldn't matter. Sure enough, she lost her shit. Bipolar ass women can't be reasoned with. No, they can't be reasoned with, but no man should be tiptoeing and walking on eggshells around his woman. Gotta be a fucking man, even if it means fighting. But also, A, you should have gotten involved with married this woman anyway, and B, once her true colors really started coming out, you should have ended it. But he didn't know. He didn't have that role model. He didn't have that knowledge. He does now. This is why I do what I do, guys. This is why I share these videos and stories every day, sometimes twice a day, to help guys out. Hang in there, fellas. It will get better. She always knew that with me, cheating was a bridge too far, though. Can you guess what I'm going to tell you next? What could be coming? Her cheating on him? Kyle. Let's call him Kyle. He was her new partner at work. I remember how she started telling me funny stories about Kyle. The hilarious stuff that he would say at work, and how he was really cool kind of guy, and I get along really well with. I remember when I first met him. Newsflash, guys, when your woman is all of a sudden mentioning some other dude often, that probably is she's testing you. That's your replacement for whatever thing she thinks you're doing wrong, or if you are doing something wrong. That's why. I had recently started my own business. It was a very small industry, and I don't want to be too specific. It involves a lot of driving. I slept in my car the night before. Even though I charged an overnight rate, that'd be paid for a hotel. I was really grinding at this point and saving every dollar and finally getting ahead. Well, finally not sinking into further debt, that I should say. So I was willing to sacrifice to keep every dollar I had. I was exhausted and on a 7-hour drive home when the wife called and asked if I could meet with Kyle. Kyle was looking to buy a foreclosed home and wanted some of my expertise. I had worked in construction before. I knew certain things to look for. I did not want to go as I was tired and just wanted to go home, but reluctantly agreed to meet with him. We got along good. I invited him and his girlfriend out to my house, went to a concert with him, and became a friendly acquaintance with him. One night, my wife did not come home. She went with a girlfriend to a reunion thing and texted saying that she was going to stay with her. She acted strange when she got home the next morning, stranger than usual. Stranger than usual for her usual nut job bipolar self. That says something. Over the next few weeks, she spent even more time out in the garage. She'd go pick up groceries and be gone for like 2 to 3 hours. She'd work late and was just very distant. My friend, this is all signs of cheating. I remember some Fridays after work, she would come home and go to bed and basically wouldn't come out of the bedroom until Sunday afternoon. What the hell? I think at this point, she had gotten really into drugs. It was at this point I decided to go through her phone. I found all the filthy text. Her saying she couldn't wait for Kyle to F her again. I felt completely demasculized. I felt like I was her little bitch, and I was. She moved in with her parents, and after 6 months, we decided to try again. Smack! You had your way out. She did it. She finally did the unforgivable thing that you would not let her do, that your final last straw. She cheated on you with Kyle, the guy you're helping out, Kyle. And then you take her back after 6 months. A leopard doesn't change his spots. Now, maybe you did this because of the kids. Who knows? But they're better off without her. How much suffering do you got to go through? I did this because I was weak. Nothing changed, though. She was still the awful, miserable train wreck of a person. Gee, I could have told you that. I remember her getting mouthy with me at a family reunion. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. I told her to leave, and we were done. It was like a switch that had been thrown, and I did not care about her anymore. It was the strangest thing. In that one moment, it was like she was dead to me, and it was never changed. I told her I was filing for divorce. Hallelujah! Finally, brother. Good for you. For those of you that have stuck around to this point, because I'm sure many of you guys have pulled out some hair at this point, or face palms, this is where it gets good. 1 week later, I went on a trip with my family and some family friends. I was 34. They have a 25-year-old daughter that came too. So gorgeous. Legit looked like a Victoria's Secret model. We hit it off like magic. After the trip, she came over and turned into a 3-month-long sex session. Well, you earned that one, my man. 3 nights a week, many days per week. It did not last very long, and it did break my heart. However, it caused me to search YouTube, and I discovered the RP community. Aha! How many guys found these types of videos and these types of channels because they've been burned really badly and gone through hell? I'm sure a big chunk of you guys watching it right now. And here's another brother that was saved. I went on a Tinder binge. I discovered that most women are not worthy of my time. They do not deserve to be put on a pedestal, and that doing so actually destroys their attraction level. I learned to vet women. I learned red flags to watch out for. He learned all the things that he wasn't taught when he was younger from his dad and any other man around. All the things that, my God, if he had known, it would have been a completely different life. But you can't change the past, but you can change your present and your future by taking action. And he's educating himself. After years of dating and not caring about women, I discovered one worthy of love. We've been dating exclusively for 3 years now. She is kind, traditional, treats me like a king. She has a gorgeous hourglass body, long beautiful hair, and a smile that just radiates kindness. She cooks unbelievable meals. She keeps her home impeccably clean, comes to my house and cooks for me, cleans for me. The sex is great. She massages me head to toe. She loves my kids like they're her own. Unbelievable. Night and day difference. Good for you, man. You deserved it. But you know what? It's because you changed. You went through all that hell with your ex and learned the hard way through many painful, humiliating lessons, but you learned. You discovered RP content. You started acting like a freaking man, not tolerating any crap, not putting him on a pedestal, all that. And imagine that. You got yourself not only a damn good-looking chick, but a one that treats you like the king because you don't treat her like the queen. I'm sure you're good to her when it's warranted, but I'm sure you're completely night and day, 180-degree different compared to the younger you. And that is why you attracted a chick like this in your life and being treated this well. If you went back to your old ways, I guarantee you the way this girl's treating you would be night and day different. Mark my words. So don't go back to your old ways. He says here, she knows how I feel about marriage. She was not happy about it at first, but accepts that I'm not willing to get married again. Good, brother. Now let me tell you something. She is going to try to change your mind. And there may be a point where she might try the ultimatum thing, like saying, I really want to be married, my family, my religion, whatever. And make bluff that she's going to walk away if you don't marry her, and that you will be tested. If you absolutely do not want to get married again ever after what you've been through, you'll be prepared to let her walk. Okay? And she may never come back. But you don't want to go through the same shit again, because once that ring's on the finger, you know darn well what's going to happen, or what can happen. However, you keep acting like you've been acting, which attracted this woman, you'll just get another great chick in your life. But just don't ever change. Don't ever change back to who you once were. She's not happy, but she's willing to accept it. We travel all the time to amazing places, bungee jump, skydive, and just love life. She knows I have zero tolerance for any BS. There you go. If she so much as texts another man, I'll ghost her. I'm ghost. If I saw her flirt with another man, ghost. I now know how to set boundaries. I maintain my frame, and she loves and respects me for it. I had to go through a lot of hell, educate myself, and finally learn the lesson how to become a self-respecting man. Good for you. This is why she's attracted to you, because you're acting like a freaking man. I knew you could do it, bro. I'm proud of you. Right here. Zero tolerance for any bullshit. You have to be that way. And setting boundaries, you must be that way. If you don't, the type of shit you had early in the story is going to happen. As for my ex, get the popcorn, guys, because this is really the good part. As for my ex, she has lost all her teeth. Ugh. And is currently living in a tent at a campground with her new husband. They've been evicted from their last 3 rentals. Complete shit show. I was weak before, admittedly, but my demands to somewhat keep the finances in check were the only thing that kept us from living the same way. I received some satisfaction seeing her standard of living decline after our divorce, but I even feel bad for them now. It's definitely rock bottom. Maybe karma is real. Believe it or not, I think I have actually painted her in a better light than she deserves. If you would have lived with her, you would know the complete hell that I went through. You did go through hell, man. Absolutely. And she is a hellion. But you also brought on a lot of that hell. You enabled a lot of her behavior. I know it was hell and I wasn't there, but I'm sure you get my point. If you acted the way you do now with her, it wouldn't have been as bad. But then again, if you knew what you know now back then, you would have married her. You wouldn't even freaking dated her. And if you did date, you would have dated for a bit, saw her true colors, and been like, see ya. But you had to go through all that shit to become the man you are now. You were an awesome man. Don't get me wrong. The old you, in terms of your work ethic and busting your ass for your family and saving and being frugal, that's awesome. I have great respect for that. Just when it comes to women, you're fucking terrible before. Now you're great. The good news is I have my kids nearly full time. They visit her and still love their mom, but they know who she is. I think they see how we live now and how she lives and know the choices are important. You're damn right, choices are important. But a lot of people don't want to take accountability for their actions, and they want to blame everybody else for their mistakes in life. I am 39 now, and I have my new home paid in full. And my car is paid off. Great woman, great home, great kids. My son is 15, and he has his head on so much better than I did at his age. He is a great athlete, hard worker, dedicated to accomplishing his goals. I'm glad I wised up in time to be a worthy father and mentor for him, as well as all my daughters. Thank you for what you do, SSM, and any other guys who are going through hell. It can get better. Get on your purpose, lift, control your finances, and vet these women. Only 5 out of 100 are worth your time. Sorry this got lengthy. Peace. Bro, that was a great story. I'm really proud of you. I'm so happy you're doing well, and just keep doing what you're doing. All the knowledge you've gained by making all the mistakes you did, and good Lord, you made a lot of mistakes, but you turned it around. Complete 180. And the knowledge you gained by watching all the videos and probably books you read and all that, look how you are today. You're going to be a great mentor. You already are a great mentor towards your son, okay? And you can tell him all the things you learned the hard way, the way I tell guys the things I learned the hard way, to help them out. And so that way your son will never have to go through that bullshit that he went through. But so look at it like this. That was the pain you went through is to help you become the man you are now. And now you can help your son not have to go through that crap, and also to help your daughters not turn to a bunch of these wackos that are out there today. So, I'm really glad things are going well for you. So guys who are watching this, the lessons have been learned. This is why you got to have a young guy needs a masculine, strong mentor in his life, preferably his dad, if not his grandpa, his uncle, whatever, to help guide him about reality, how you must stand up for yourself and check women when there's BS. You got to set boundaries. You can't tolerate BS, because if you do, this type of shit's going to happen. Okay, guarantee it's only a matter of time. And again, like I said, this guy, his life is great now, and he's got this great woman, and he's happy with and all that. But I mean what I say, that if he started going back to his old ways, she would not see him in the way that she does now. I'm willing to bet you all the money I have right now that he gets whatever he wants in the bedroom with this girl. I mean anything. Why? Because she sees him like the king, because he's an alpha male. But if he went back to the old ways, that would stop real quick. So good for this guy. It's a great lesson. And of course, you can be going through shit, but you can turn things around. All men can act like a true strong man and turn their shit around. I don't care how bad it is. There is a way. You just got to have the strength to do it. And seek out help from people that can help you. So that is it for today, guys. Be sure to comment down below. Let me just think about this. Give this guy a high five in the comment section for his big turnaround here. And also, guys, if you got a great story you'd like to share, by all means, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just make sure that you write out well, make it easy for me to read. I get tons of these all the time, so I'm doing my best to get through them all. And if you don't write out well, I'm not going to be able to do it, because just when these emails are all jammed together and there's no paragraphs and no beginning or end of sentences, I just can't do that. So make it as easy as possible for me to read. I know I say this shit all the time, but I mean it. And also, guys, you got any really good articles you'd like me to cover, or a crazy story, email it to me, include the link, and I'll definitely cover it down the road and give you a shout out. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.